Welcome to Honestly Rated, and today we'll be talking about your favorite Derby star, Roller Brawl. Roller Brawl is a Skylander that I have already rated, but I have never went to the Supercharger one, and with the standard Roller Brawl, I actually really liked her. I give her a 5 out of 5, and I found her gameplay to be really fun. So with Superchargers and trying to reinvent certain characters to play a little bit differently, hopefully Bone Bash can do the same. So today we're going to take a look at her overall gameplay and design to see if they were able to accomplish that. Normally I give you the lore on this character to tell you how they became a Skylander, but since I already did that back in the original Roller Brawl Honestly Rated, I'll just give you a fun fact instead. And that fun fact being, this one has eyebrows, and the original doesn't. Why? I don't know, but they do. Last thing that I like to say is that if you want to see your Skylander potentially on the next Honestly Rated, just leave it down in the comments. I do like to pick off of them, and I do go back to ones that I saw like months ago. So, you know, leaving it down now means that you might see it tomorrow or in the next month, who knows. And another thing is that if you want to see some more, like that Roller Brawl one that I talked about from the original one, you can go check out my playlist in the description that has every single one there, and you can go look around and see which ones I've done before. And if you want to stay up to date with these videos, I do post these every single Saturday, but if you want to help me out and you see yourself coming back to these a lot, subscribing, hitting the bell, liking, all that fun stuff that, all YouTubers ask for, it would be cool if you did that for me too. It would be really nice. So, yeah, thank you. And let's get on to Roller Brawl and see how well she can really do. Starting off, we have the Derby Duke and Fangarang. Roller Brawl starting out is a lot of fun, and I think I have to give a lot of that to the Fangarings. It's our secondary move, but it influences a lot. Fangarings is a projectile that shoots from the left and right that just kind of spin around, and when hitting an enemy will act like a blender. They just kind of swirl around on the ground for a while, which also doing 30 damage, and hitting the enemy for roughly 4 times. You do the math on that, it is pretty good damage, and it hits multiple enemies at once if they're grouped up pretty well. Again, a lot of damage getting put out there by a move that you don't have to get close up with a melee character. How nice. And another reason I like it a lot is that it influences the first move a lot in how it works and just how you incorporate it when playing. So let me tell you about Derby Duke. It is our simple primary, swing with the left, swing with the right, but changes when you use Fangarings. Reason being is that Fangarings uses the blades on your hand. So obviously your primary has to change. If you keep them on, you use your blades, and it is just a bigger move. It can hit multiple times, and it also does a pretty good amount of pushback, I would say. Maybe it's just up to me, though. Maybe the other one also does it, but it just feels a lot greater here. It feels a lot more consistent to actually push back enemies. But if you have them off, you get to scrap. You get to brawl. You know the thing inside of her name? Yeah, you get to do that. You get to use your bare hands and just start fucking walloping enemies. And the difference here is that it's a lot faster just because of hit stun. I swear, it just kind of attacks quicker. And it actually does the same amount of damage. It doesn't actually change if you throw your blades off or on. And it's a little weird. You might think that, hey, the blades should have do more. And, I kind of agree with you on that. But it makes it a little bit funner when you just know, like, hey, I can throw my blades out without worrying how much damage I'm doing. Because I'm doing the exact same. And for that reason, it's a lot of fun. I really like it. I really enjoy the blades. I enjoy just kind of scrapping with enemies. And it also changes your jump attack a little bit. If you have them on, you do like a spin in the sky. And it hits multiple times depending on the enemy's height. And if you do it without it, you do a dive that does 40 damage, which is the highest damage you can do. And it does a little bit of a pushback. So, yeah, a lot of fun with Roller Brawl. And right in the beginning, a lot of cool things to do with it. And it makes for a pretty fun melee character. And there's so much more that this character's packing. It's criminal, honestly. And one of those criminal moves is going to be Love Bites. So literally the first move you can buy. It is extremely good. The reason being is that it's a projectile that gives you health and weakens the enemy. The way you use this is that after you throw out your Fangarings, you can press the button again, and you can blow a kiss to your adversaries. You can just go, Mwah, I love you guys, and you just fucking weaken them and steal their HP a little bit. And it is amazing. Again, Roller Brawl is a melee character. Getting any type of health that is just consistent is always nice. And weakening to kill enemies quicker to, lessen the risk that you get hit. Again, very nice. It works out in every single level of play. It is super good for that reason, and it's a projectile, so you don't have to be close to the enemy and worry about getting hit in that fashion. It is super good. Then it also has a big radius, so you can hit multiple enemies at one time, so if they all group up, you can get like 15 to 20 HP per hit. It is extremely good, and you can farm like big guys off of it, and again, it weakens, so you can kill big guys quicker with it, and you're already doing pretty good damage. It is a fantastic move in all of the sense, and it's the first one. Another move that I really like is going to be Skater's Gonna Skate, directly right after Love Bites. And the reason being is that it's a move that comes from the SWAT Force days that is extremely amazing. It allows you to skate. Those things on your feet aren't just for show. and you get to go faster because of it, so you can get out of, fights quicker, or you can kind of rush up on some enemy if you want to, if someone's running away, like one of those pesky fucking sheeps that like throwing the weird slow balls at you, something like that. Another cool reason for it is that it actually does two different things, depending if you have the blades on or off. If you have the blades on, it allows you to just extend those and kill chompies pretty easily. Again, like I said, kill chompies, kill roaches, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. So when you have it off, it does actually 5 more damage, which is pretty cool, and it's just a lot more of an offensive feeling move. You can spam it pretty easily, so you can get 15, 15, 15, and you can just use it to run away again. So it's pretty cool in that sense. I like it, I enjoy it, and you use it a lot. It's a very, very useful tool for Rollerblade, because again, she's a melee character. She needs to get in and out in fights pretty quickly, so just having a move like this that just kind of bullies anything in front of her is always nice. Then for the last two, we have is Derby Damage and Crossover Technique. Even simple upgrades like these, I really enjoy for Roller Brawl. Like the first one, which is a damage upgrade. The reason I like it a lot is that, again, we get to do extra damage with our primary attack. It does 4 extra, but she also has a weaken. So it gets me thinking, like, hey, I should put a weaken on this enemy because I'm doing more damage now, and it really tries to incorporate that kissing move. Another move, too, is that Crossover Technique. Crossover Technique allows you to, anytime the finger ring hits an enemy, instead of it just kind of like spiraling around randomly and potentially hitting another enemy, it purposely seeks out enemies. And the reason that this is good is that the finger ring is going to be out there for longer. So it allows you to get more kisses off and more things that we'll be able to see in the future. And it's very beneficial for that reason. Now it does suck in that sense that, hey, we're not going to have our thing back. So if you really enjoy the jumping attack of Roller Brawl, you won't be able to see it as much, but it's still very beneficial. And it is super good to her character. And again, it acts like a blender on the ground. So you get more chances of the blender on the ground and it just killing enemies like crazy. It is very good. Now we'll go on to the Brawler Derby path with Jam Time and Serious Substitution. I fully adore these first two moves. I honestly think they're super good to her kit. The first one being Jam Time allows you to basically pull a Raiden from Mortal Kombat and absolutely fling yourself to the other side of a continent, man. You just go literally turbo blazing speed to the next. And a nice thing about it too is that it pushes back enemies. Not even pushback, it does a launch back. It absolutely makes enemies fly. And it's super good in that reason, especially when there's a lot of enemies near you. Even though there is some hit stun on it, so you could potentially get hit with it, you are probably killing anything that is near a ledge or not even near it, man. You launch them literally to the next continent. It is absolutely insane how far it goes, and yourself, like, you get put in a very nice spot against all the enemies. It's really fun in that situation. Another cool thing is our other one, the subsequent damage one. It adds so much damage to a lot of things. For one, your blades actually do more damage than if you're using your fist. So if you get rid of your finger rings or you throw your finger rings out, you would be doing less damage with your fist. So, take that as you will. But the thing that I like about it most is the finger rings. The finger rings do 42 damage, which is a lot of damage just to be spinning around on the ground, which again, they have tracking. So they're going to purposely seek enemies after the first hit on an enemy. So you're guaranteed to at least hit something with a 42. And it has it's pretty big, so it hits multiple enemies. This lady does so much fucking damage. It's honestly criminal. It's honestly criminal, and I love it. I love it. She feels like a powerhouse. And that's what she should feel like, because she is like a Derby star. She's fucking in Derby. She should be doing a lot of damage. Then last up on this path we have, as always, wear a helmet, which is a good lesson, because if you don't, you'll hit your head and you'll die. You'll be like the monkeys, and you'll have a song written about you. But you'll also be dead, so you don't want that. But about this move, it's pretty cool. It is somewhat similar to the first one, where it pushes back enemies, but it does, one, a lot more damage than the other one. Two, it puts enemies in a spot where you can attack right after, comparatively to the first move. The first one, as you saw, again, you went flying. Like, you just, you couldn't stop yourself. So this one allows you to actually kind of follow up with attacks, and I find that to be pretty good. Remember, I told you that I said that the blades feel like they have a little bit of a slower attack speed just because of the hit stun that kind of applies with it, because it can hit multiple times and hit multiple enemies at once. So if you use this move and just kind of displace them in front of you, you can start slashing at them without the worry of them hitting you or not being able to get away fast enough, even though I guess we do have a move that literally makes you run at the speed of sound. It's still a precautionary tool that I find pretty good. And again, it does a lot of damage. It does 70 damage. So, it's a pretty nice thing to just kind of randomly use that at some enemy and maybe just kill him. It's a nice move nonetheless. It's not super crazy comparatively to the other ones, just because, again, we do have that first one, which kind of puts you in the same situation, but I can see its use still. Now we'll go on to the Brawler Derby path, where we have Eat Pavement, which probably don't do that, that tastes gross, and Blocker's Buffet. This path I like to call the Immortal path, and you'll see why. But with the first move, we have Eat Pavement, and that's not me telling you to do that. I would never tell you to do that, but that's just the move name. So don't eat the pavement, because it probably doesn't taste good, unless you have a really weird taste palette. The thing that this move does is that it throws out a projectile in a really wonky way. From my understanding, it seems like it does have some type of like enemy traction where it's like, hey, I see you, and the projectile actually goes that way. So it's not always just like strictly in front of you is it going to shoot. It's going to like really turn, and sometimes it has some wacky ass turns. Sometimes it goes behind you, sometimes it goes to the left of you. It's really whatever the fuck it wants to do. But the main course of it is that it kind of pushes back enemies, and it does pretty solid damage. It's a move that you kind of use as like a starter up to like run towards an enemy, comparatively to actually using it in front of them. Or you can also use it just to kind of skate away. You don't always have to like look at the enemy, because again, it's never shooting in front of you, it's just shooting towards an enemy. So you can look anywhere you want, you can look away, you can run away. But if you just hold it, it'll just shoot out this pink shit, and they'll just kind of fly back a bit. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's a really wacky move, but it's still good nonetheless. Then the other one is that Blocker's Buffet, which is more armor. You get to take less damage. And that is going to be stepping stone 1 of why this is the Immortal path. If we want to look at number 2, we gotta look at the second upgrade. And that move being called the Contagious Kiss. The thing that this does, it allows for the kiss to have basically a wider scope. It has like a little blossom it does right after it initially lands on an enemy that hits other enemies, and again, gives you more HP. It doesn't give you 5, it gives you 3, but listen, what doesn't stop you from just like stalling point from these enemies, constantly just putting them inside of like a big group, and then just blowing kisses at them over and over? Nothing. You can keep doing that and get your HP all the way back to whatever you need it to be. It's super good in that sense. And again, if you're fighting bosses, you're fighting mini bosses, things that move really slow, you can just sit there and just keep going and going and going. And if they have like little minions coming around and trying to hit you, well, you'll hit them with it too, and you'll get more HP for it too. It is super good. And that's why I kind of call this path the Immortal one, because if you just play smart, make sure you're not getting super far down in the HP category, and you watch out for things that are flying at you, you basically live on forever. There's no reason you should die. And again, the last move too was a defensive upgrade. You take less damage because our armor is now better. Listen, you should live, and it's super cool for that reason, and I really enjoy this path. I think both of these paths were amazing. I found our whole upgrade kit, everything to be amazing, but I guess we still have our soul gem, so I guess I still have a chance to be disappointed, so let's go check it out. And I'll tell you right now, I am not upset with this move at all. I like it a lot. Brawling Bout is a really good move. The way it works is that, well, now Brawler Brawl can build up rage. The way that she does this is just by fighting, getting hit, stuff like that. And when she hits the peak, which you can tell if she is shining kind of like a purple color, or a pinkish color I should say, next to her arms, you are able to hold your fangarangs, and then, or hold the button for fangarangs, and then go into practically an immortal smoke cloud that looks like something out of a cartoon animal fight. And it does 80 damage, which is, I'm pretty sure, her highest damage count she can do. It's very good! That's it. That's like all you need to know. It's a immortal cloud that you can just keep punching with, and it does a lot of damage, and it's very good for that reason. And it builds up very quickly, so it's not even like a slow thing. You build this shit up within like a matter of 20 seconds. But with the soul gem done and dusted, that was the last thing we had to take a look at for Brawler Brawl. So I am ready to give you my honest rating of her. And just like her Swap Force version, she's gonna get a solid 5 out of 5. I think she did everything seamlessly. I really like how she played. There was never like a design like feature or how her character worked that was like very questionable of. I think everything worked out very well. I enjoyed the factor of being able to throw stuff off and it having a different way of using it, and just kind of how you apply it. It works in a total different way comparatively to if you have your fangs on. I think the moves were just great. I think her paths were very, similar in structure, but the top one was very much like, hey, kill things as fast as you can. Kill them before they can even see who you even are. Then the bottom one being a lot more like just living. You're like, hey, you want to survive longer? Because again, you're a melee character. Take the bottom one. You get defensive upgrades. You get the health in there. You get a move that is more of a projectile and pushes enemies away so you don't get hit as often. And then her soul gem. That's cool. Hey, I'm a big cartoon head. I like Looney Tunes. I like seeing a big dog fight. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's pretty funny to me. So, yeah, Brawler Brawl is a great character. But Bone Bash Brawler Brawl is a great character too. I think you should play both of them. And with that, that is Bone Bash Brawler Brawl honestly rated. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. Let me know what characters you want to see next. If you want to see more, again, playlist in the description. And I really don't have much else to say. Great character. I love both of them. and they're super cool. And whoever designed these guys must have loved Goss, because again, they did fantastic with her. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you and everybody else in the next one. Peace.